Hello! This episode is brought to you as part of Wanted Design Manhattan Online, a conversation series presented with Design Milk and Clever. Each day, from May 11th to the 22nd, 2020, will feature design dialogues, including new episodes of Clever and engaging live conversations with very special guests. To view the schedule and register for events, head to wanteddesignnyc.com/online. That's wanteddesignnyc.com/online.
The thing that I understood working with Japan, it was really you have to follow all the project like babies, from the first idea to the final concept to the final project.
Hi everyone, I'm Amy Devers, and this is Clever. Today, I have the pleasure of bringing you this talk with the legendary Giulio Cappellini. Trained as an architect, he's most renowned for being the visionary art director of international contemporary design house, Cappellini. Cappellini was started as a wood, furniture, and case goods manufacturing company by his father in 1946. And when Giulio made his move into the family business around 1979, he did so with an eye for fresh, avant-garde design and a vision for a global brand. Fast forward 40 years, he's carved a serious reputation as a design talent divining rod, having discovered and launched the careers of a slew of notables like Jasper Morrison, Tom Dixon, Mark Newson, Nendo, and many others, while also defining eras of contemporary design with his bold curatorial perspective and instinct for eternal statements. He's passionate, curious, and optimistically focused on the long view. Here's Giulio.
I'm Giulio Cappellini and I live in Milano, and I'm an architect, designer and art director. My main job is to work as an art director in Cappellini company that was in the past the family company. And now I'm taking care of the art direction, and also I like to take care of design schools and to write books or articles for different magazines about design, and also have the art direction of a few other companies in bathroom accessories and lighting.
That is a full life, Giulio. Can we go all the way back to the beginning? I know you were born in 1954 in Milan, and I always like to get a sense of how you got to be the adult you are by going through the formative years. Will you tell me about your childhood and what kinds of things captured your attention when you were a little boy?
Yes, because, when I was just a little boy, we had already the family business that was a very, very small family company with only 10, 12 workers doing furniture, not design furniture, just furniture. Still, when I was really very, very young, I started to smell this kind of atmosphere. And I was always very attracted by Lego or by the construction and so. And so creativity, it was for me very, very important. Now to work with colors, to draw, and so and so. And that was really my first, the most important things for me. And also, I like very much to build small models of maybe houses or small architectural projects, and that's it. My other passion was cars, and I'm still very passionate about cars, and also my son is very, very passionate about cars. And so really, it was just my passion, but really, it was for me very, very important. In fact, also speaking about cars, for me, it was maybe more important the shape, the beauty of a car more than the engine, That's why I was in love with the cars, beautiful cars of the 50s, of the 60s, and so and so. Growing, I was more and more interested in, I start to look and to read books about the big masters of design and of architecture. This thing is also till when I was 13, 14 years old. I started to read books. I was really very, very attracted by contemporary design and contemporary architecture because for sure I had the maximum respect for what was old or antique, but I was definitely more and more attracted by what was new. And later on, I was also very, very attracted by contemporary art. But this happened when I was 18, 20 years old. And so really I was a great fan. I'm still a great fan of pop art and so and so. So I was really very, very attracted from the artistic side of life.
So can you tell me, do you have siblings? What was the family dynamic like? And were you being sort of groomed to go into the family business, or did you always want to?
I was studying architecture at the Politecnico di Milano, and I was very lucky because during my university, I had the possibility to work for 1 year at the Gio Ponti studio. And as you know, Gio Ponti is one of the most important artists, architect, designers that we had in Italy. And at the time, Gio Ponti was still alive, and we were just a small group of young students, 2 from Italy, 1 from Switzerland, 1 from Germany, 1 from Japan, and so every afternoon we are working with Mr. Gio Ponti, and he was showing to us all the projects that he made in the past, and also give to us themes on which to work. So for me, it was an incredible school. But my idea, doing the architecture faculty at the Politecnico di Milan, it was just to be an architect. At that time, the university, it was just an hot period. We had a lot of strikes and so and so. And so I started just to help the family business, but really just to win few money and that's it. But my idea, my concept, it was really to be an architect or a designer, but not to take care of the family business. But, at the time I was very, very young, and one evening I was drunk, and I told to my father and my mother, so I decided to go ahead with the family business. And I was again very lucky, because my father, he looked at me and he told me, okay, if you take your risk, go ahead. And so I started to enter in the family business.
I'm very curious because this was a very pivotal moment in your life. Why do you think when you were drunk, you said this to your father? Because you clearly had been thinking about it, and maybe it took getting drunk for it to come out.
Yes, I'm joking just a little bit about this, but frankly speaking, is that working into the family business, I was already passionate about design, and also if at that time the Cappellini brand was not a design brand, I was thinking that really we can grow and we can.
You were scheming.
We can try to do.
You had a plan.
Yeah, because my idea again, it was the main concept of the beginning of my job at the Cappellini company. It was that looking at the time, the Italian design was really famous, very famous in the world, because we are at the beginning of the 80s, no? And for sure, this is a fantastic phenomena that started in the 50s with, on one side, at the time, a small group of designers like Gio Ponti, like Achille Castiglioni, like Vico Magistretti, Ettore Sozzas, and so. These people, they strongly believe in design. And on the other side, a small group of entrepreneurs like Mr. Busnelli, Mr. Cassina, and Mr. Gandini from Floss, who really believe in design like a new form of business. And so this small group of people, they create this fantastic, incredible phenomena. But, I was thinking when I start to work into the family business, I was telling to myself, okay, Italian design is really very important. On one side, Italian designers, on the other side, Italian entrepreneur. But I was thinking that, okay, something is happening in the world. I cannot think that we can find good, interesting designers only here in Italy. And so I started to travel in Europe, in France, in England, and after in North America, after in Japan, and so I started to meet young designers at the time. totally unknown designers like Jasper Morrison, Tom Dixon, Mark Newson, and many others that they were the first project, and so they started life in our business with me. The idea, no, to create a new concept of design, to maintain and to defend the quality of the Italian production on one side, but on the other side, really to try to work on, when I can see an international design. Anyway, looking at the DNA of the different designers, because for sure, for me, it's very, very important to understand that in a certain moment, I'm working with a person that is coming from Japan or from England or from North America or from France, and so and so. And so I start with this idea, with this new project, and okay, step by step, I met really very, very interesting people. And I always say that for sure in my life, I had really the possibility, and I still have the possibility, really to meet incredible people. And they can be maybe very well known old designers, or they can be very, very young students or young designers at the beginning of their career. For me, really, these meetings with people are absolutely very, very important. This sort of cultural contamination with people coming from different parts of the world, and this sort of friendship that you can create with the designers is really something fantastic. Because, as I always say, you cannot do a good project if there is not the good relationship between a designer, myself, and the team of the R&D at the Cappellini or in another company.
So I want to ask you about all of these relationships, and I also want to understand when you had set your sights on taking over the family business and you had a sort of progressive curatorial scheme brewing in your head, did you see the family business as, I know you had an idea where you wanted to take it. Did you feel any resistance, or was it fairly fluid? And did you already have relationships with designers that you wanted to work with, or did that come as you were taking the reins at Cappellini?
At the beginning, okay, on one side, my father gave me really a lot of freedom to work, but on the other side, again, at the time, Cappellini was a very, very small company.
Okay.
And the Cappellini was selling all only in few areas, in few cities in north of Italy. And so I started to export. I remember that at the beginning, my father and my mother, they were saying, no, but why you have to sell to Germany, to France? You're crazy. And so I remember that I didn't eat for 10 days till when they gave to me the possibility, to do what I like to do. When I want something, I really want. I'm an Aries, and really I'm quite strong from this point of view.
You said you're an Aries? Oh, I can see this.
And I have to say that starting from the beginning, it was really a fantastic period because, okay, many of the designers, I was looking to them, but after friends of those designers and so I can say that really all the designers at that time, they had the contact with Cappellini. For sure, with some of them, we arrived to make products, and so with some of them, we only made prototypes and not products. But I have to say that was really, in the 80s, in the 90s, a fantastic period, because I can say that it was incredible in this, at that time, small company in north of Milano to have these people, young people coming from all over the world. And at the same time, the company growth. That means that from 10 workers, we arrived to be 250. So the company grows a lot and we start to export worldwide. But really, I have to say that something happened because I think it has to happen. That means it wasn't really part of a scheme that I really made, because I'm really very instinctive in my choices, and really to say that everything happened based maybe on my passion for my job and based on the passion of all the people that I had the possibility to meet at that time and so. But it was not just a precise scheme to say, okay, now Cappellini is 10 workers, I want to arrive to 200. Now Cappellini is selling only in Italy, I want to arrive to sell worldwide. And so, no, something happens step by step in those 15, 20 years.
I understand what you're saying. Instead of being really premeditated, what you're saying is you were responding to very intuitively, very instinctually to the climate of the world, and very agilely. I mean, I think the agility and you have a very distinct point of view, and I guess maybe the Aries nature means you are very confident in following through on that distinct point of view. Would you say?
Yeah, I have to say that for me to be passionate about my job and the enthusiasm is really the most important thing. And also today, that for sure I'm older, we are no more in the 80s or in the 90s, when there is a new project, and not only just a new project about a product, but a project of communication, a project for a show. And so for me, every time is like something new. It's like an examination. It's like a new baby, no? And really, because the thing that I understood working with Japon, it was really you have to follow all the project like babies, from the first idea to the final concept to the final project. And so, really, for me, I can say that really, okay, unfortunately, this year we don't have the design week and the Salone del Mobile, but normally, okay, we work a lot to do new products and so, but starting from the end of December, starting from the beginning of January till April, for me there is not Saturday, Sunday, and I still work now, maybe 14, 15 hours per day, because really, we have to try to always do better what we made in the past, and that's it.
You've mentioned relationships being a critical part of the way you work, and also you just said following the project through like babies, which makes me get the impression that you and the designer work together like co-parents in many ways.
Yeah.
Can you describe the way that you form these relationships, or the way that you understand when they're going to work?
Yes. First of all, the relationship with each person is completely different, no? Because the approach to design for example, the approach of Jasper Morrison is different from the approach of Nendo. The approach of Nendo is different from the approach of the Burulek brothers, and so on. I think that first of all is respect, and second is really to establish a strong relationship, because in the respect of the DNA of the designer, so the designer has to understand what the company can do or cannot do, and really we as a company, we have to understand what the designer can give to the company. So I always say that I like to work on a global concept, on a global project, no? And my role as an art director of the company is really to create this sort of fil rouge that connect the different spirit of the different designers. Because, when you look at the Cappellini catalog, you can see really very, very different approach to design. Morrison, that is very minimal. Sandro Mendini, that is with a lot of decoration and so, or maybe someone that is more organic and so. So I think that really to create what they call this sort of global project is really very, very important. And anyway, the relationship with the designers is, for me, something that is the most important thing. Again, if there is not the maximum respect and there is not a good relationship, you cannot arrive to do a good product, because sometimes it takes a lot of time from the first idea of the designer to arrive to the final product, and sometimes you have to change many different things. So that means that we have to work years or months together, and if there is not this sort of feeling, it became really very, very difficult to arrive to the final product. And I think that again this is very important. And another thing is that I like to work with many different designers. Most of them are now historical. The relationship with Cappellini is maybe 20, 30 years old. But, each designer working with Cappellini, they know what I'm doing with the other designer. And for sure, with some designer like Nendo, Jasper Morrison, we do a new project every year. With some others, maybe it take 2, 3, 4 years to make a new project and so on. But again, really, I think that For me, the most important thing that all the people, all the designers that be working or they work for Cappellini, they have to feel to be part of a family. And again, so there really again is a problem of relationship.
I think the family metaphor is actually perfect because I'm thinking about the Cappellini catalog. And you're right, they're all very different. They're very distinct individual personalities. Each one of those projects are babies, but they all share a family resemblance, right? There is something in the DNA that comes from within Cappellini. And I think that's what makes it work.
Yeah, because I think that, we can speak about innovation in many different ways, no? Because innovation can be in terms of shapes. Also, if I always say that really maybe the most beautiful shapes have already been done in design in the 50s or in the 60s, but innovation can be just in use of new technologies, new materials, new production systems, and so really, again, the relationship with not only with me in the company, but all with all my team and the designer, it's really this sort of friendship is really very, very important. Sometimes you see the same designers is doing maybe for a company a project that fits perfectly in the catalog, and with some other companies that maybe products that they fit 50 or 70% in the catalog. But this is not a problem of the designer; it's the problem of the company, because maybe at that time the company is not able to establish the right relationship with the designer, and it takes time. It takes time, absolutely. But again, when you establish this relationship, at the end is for the life, as I can say.
You have a very instinctual way of working, but you've also taken some great risks over the course of...
Absolutely, always, and still.
Describe for me your risk-taking personality and what compels you to take action.
From my point of view is that, to take risk, it means that when I strongly believe in one person or in one project, I want to do and I push to do that. That means I don't want to be just a marketing victim, because sometimes,
Marketing
I have no
victim.
respect for the marketing people. But, sometimes too much marketing kills creativity. You have to defend your ideas. And again, sometimes when you work on a project that is really very, very innovative, it takes time to enter in the market. Anyway, as I always say, we are not producing fresh pasta. That means that if it's not successful in 1 month, you have to throw away. Sometimes, with some new projects of maybe also new unknown designers, it takes years to enter in the market. But again, if I strongly in that, I try to defend this project as I can. And this is again to take risk, maybe again to make prototypes, and maybe if the product doesn't fit well in the Cappellini collection, to say, okay, no, we stop, and maybe we keep this product and we can sell this product, or maybe we can rethink to this product next year, and so and so. And I think that you can really do this if you strongly believe in what you are doing. If you don't strongly believe in what you are doing, you say, okay, this can be good. We have to check the reaction of the market and so. But no, I think that really, again, if you want to create something new, you have always to take risk. And anyway, the first generation of Italian entrepreneurs, again, in the 50s, they took a lot of risks working with the innovative ideas of those young designers. And anyway, they built a fantastic phenomena that is the Italian designer, the made in Italy. And that's it.
Yes. And in terms of steering Cappellini, you've made some pretty astute decisions to reach a larger world market. So you've grown, you've scaled the company, and then you've also joined the Poltrona Frau group, which is now owned by Hayworth. And that opens up a lot of markets for you.
Yes, because I think that really the big problem of most of the Italian design companies is that these companies, they are very well known worldwide. They are published by all the design magazines. They have products in permanent collection of design or art museums and so. But at the moment, they are too small to be in the global market, because again, today the market is the world. So when we decide to enter into the Poltrona Frau group, it was first of all to work with company with a different concept, because I have the maximum respect of Poltrona Frau, but Poltrona Frau is more classic, Cassina is more modern, and Cappellini is more contemporary. So not to create the supermarket of design and not to overlap the collection, because this is very, very important. Also, if we are part of the same group, each company has to be his own identity, his own DNA. And second, really entering, and at the beginning, okay, we were supported by a financial group, by Mr. Montezemolo, and after we became public at the stock exchange, and after we entered in the big Haworth family. But I have to say that before to enter in this family, Haworth was since few years, mostly for Cappellini, more than for Poltrona Frau or for Cassina. Haworth was the first customers worldwide for Cappellini, because they select some of the products of the Cappellini collection that they can fit in contract business for lounges, hotels, restaurants, and so. So the relationship was already strong. And for sure now that the contract market, it's really very, very important, because what they call the new countries for design, that can be Middle East or Far East, is more easy, and also North America, is more easy to sell a design product, a Cappellini product, maybe for public spaces mostly than for residential spaces. And so this to be with Haworth helped us a lot. And today I have to say that really 70% of the market of Cappellini is with contract, with the lounges, with the hotellerie, and so and so. So, and also I have to say that I'm alone. And the idea to enter in the Poltrona Frau group, it was that I didn't want to push my kids to do my job. I always told them in the past also, if you want, follow me, okay.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you are free to do whatever you want. In fact, I have, my daughters, one, she's a lawyer, and the other one, she's in fashion business, in marketing, and she's in Paris and so. And I've also son Giovanni that, again, he was very passionate about cars, and after he turned to design, and at the moment, because he's young, he's 25 years old, he's doing his own experience at the Piero Lissoni studio, because I say, okay, in the future, if you want to work with me, you are welcome, but for the moment you have to walk with your own legs, no? I've really to think to the future, for sure. For me, again, Cappellini is my baby, Cappellini is my life, but I have to think that I kill Cappellini if I don't think to the future of Cappellini without me, so we have really to try to create a good team. And I have to say that the nice thing that, for example, in marketing research, in communication at Cappellini, I have people that are working with me since 20, 30 years. No? So, they get, it's a sort of virus, this Cappellini, and this is very important because they understand me, and, I understand that it's very, very difficult, to work with me, because I'm asking the maximum to myself, and I ask the maximum also to the people that are working with me. Sometimes I arrive in the evening and I'm so tired, and they say, okay, these things is good like this. But if I'm not 100% convinced the day after at 7 o'clock in the morning, I say, no, we have to change again. And for sure, now being part of a big group, I have also to follow some rules, no? Because, for example, in Haworth, they are used to decide what to show in a fair, in an exhibition 6 months, 8 months before. And for them, it was crazy that Giulio, the night before the opening of the Salone del Mobile, decided to change the color of a cabinet or of a couch on the table. But I told them, that's me. If for months I decide that it was good to present that sofa in blue, but the night before the Salone Mobile, I think that it's better to present in red, we have to turn from blue to red. And that's it. But again, it's a problem of respect, no? And I really have to say that I'm super happy to work with the Hayward family. They are super nice people. It's a very, very good team. The relationship with all the Hayward team is really very, very good. And also, being part of Hayward Group, I have the possibility to work a lot with Patricia Orquiola. Patricia, she's a good friend. We know each other since the beginning of Patricia's career. Also now we are doing some projects together because we take when we do exhibitions between Cappellini and Hayward, we do together. Now we are developing with our Cappellini a very, very interesting new project, and so really I have to say that I'm super happy because I have the possibility to work with a very good team.
You talked about succession, and you talked about something that I think is really interesting, which is how you still work intuitively and instinctively, but with a larger team, which means, your agility has to be cooperative, less maybe impulsive. I think there's a lot that we can learn from what you've been through, and I'd really like for you to share that with us. But before we get there, will you tell me a little bit how you've adapted to be able to still follow your gut, and you seem to feel the world with a very powerful instinct, and then you have to communicate that out to now a large team when there's a lot of friction there. How have you adapted to that process?
It's a problem of respect of the other people and of passion, And I think that, as I told you, it's the same that I like to work on what they say global projects.
Yeah.
No? When they ask me which is the project that you like more, I say the Cappellini project. And to do a large project of a company, and so you have really to speak, you have really to build this project with the other people. Because I think that, if I'm sure that, and I defend what I'm doing, I have not to be afraid of the judgment of other people. Why not? And that's why, I always like also to have a lot of new young people, not only Italian, also people coming from other parts of the world in my team, because at the moment, it's true, I'm becoming old. And so for me to
you don't
really
seem
have
like you're getting old, Giulio. You've got energy.
Yeah, but for me, that's why I like very much, to have contacts with young students, with young designers, and so, because I really think that really today there is a fantastic new generation that can give to us new ideas, and so.
Yes.
So really, I think that again, for sure, is more complicated today, because in the past, okay, I get up in the morning, I decide to make white, I made white, and that's it. Now I get up in the morning, and maybe I have to, if I want to do white, I have to speak and to discuss with 30 people why we want to do white instead of black, But I think that if we want to grow, if we want to think to the future, we have definitely to work in this way. I don't believe in the role of the star, and all the other people, they have only to say yes. The thing that I always say to my team, I am more and more happy when they criticize something that I'm doing, instead if they tell me bravo.
Because it's discourse, because then you have a back and forth, and you can really understand why, as a group, why you're making that decision. I totally agree with you.
Yes, they play with me because they always say it that is absolutely not true what I'm telling to you, because they always tell me, if we say that you are wrong, you say, it's impossible. And at the moment to them, yes, and at the moment to them, I always say, no, it's impossible, you are wrong. But after, because I think that, I think that I'm not stupid, I really think of what they told me, and after sometimes I go back and they say, I have a fantastic idea, and this, and they play with me saying, is the idea that we told to you a few hours ago? And they say, okay, this sort of really friendship, because I'm again, is sometimes people, they say it's not difficult to work, but it's difficult to work with you. Because again, if we have to work 12 hours per day, and Saturday and Sunday we have to do. And the fantastic thing is that if I have a problem, I can call one person of my team at 11 o'clock in the evening or on Sunday morning when he's or she's with the family, and they answer to me. And for me, this is something absolutely fantastic. It's a goal.
Yes, you've created an enormous global global family, all working toward a mutual goal. I think it's time that we talk about, some of the hardships that you've faced in life. You have this enormous family that is your work family, and it's built on respect. And so when something doesn't go right there, it's personal.
Yes, because this happened because in the year 2000, when I decided to enter into the Poltrona Frau group, for sure we had just a company taking care, we are checking all the Cappellini things and so and so. And unfortunately, at that time, we discovered that this man that was working since 17 years for me, and he entered when he was just was taking care of the administration, but for us it was like a part of the family. He was taking care not only of the business of Cappellini, but also of all the private finance of the Cappellini family. And, the problem is that in his life, in 2 years, he started to play at the casino, losing a lot, an enormous amount of money. And so he started not alone, with a group of other people, not people working at the Cappellini company, but people out of the Cappellini company. He was taking the money, but he was not paying taxes and so. So at the end, we discovered this. And for me, it was really something absolutely crazy. But at the time, I decided to give everything that I had from my house, everything to the company, because I didn't want that the company can go in bankrupt and to have all the workers losing their job.
So let me make sure I understand. A longtime friend and employee started with a gambling problem, essentially, started siphoning off money from both the Cappellini and the Cappellini family assets?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because, it was only one playing with the money of Cappellini, because I wasn't taking care of the administration, because I was always on the products and I was traveling with customers and so. But really, the relationship of this man was very, very good. And again, it was so good that really was taking care not only of the Cappellini company finance, but also the finance of the Cappellini family, And when my father died, he gave to him everything what to do. In fact, I think that he took away also money from my father's. And at the end, this man really started to play to the casino and started to lose a huge amount of money. And, when you start to do this, you became really crazy. And, it was just taking away money till the day that we discovered this with this company, with this auditor of the Poltrona Frau Group, that it was 1 month already into the Cappellini company. So it was really crazy. This man disappeared. I was used to tell to myself, I hope to get back not all amount, but maybe 20-30% of the global amount. But this never happened, and so. Sorry.
Obviously, that's a devastating thing to discover, not just because it jeopardizes your family assets and your business, which is your baby, but it's personally devastating as well. And it sounds like this person just started digging themselves into a deeper and deeper hole, and there may have been not just financial jeopardy there, but...
But, for me it was really, as you told, devastating. In fact, in 1 month I lost 12 kilos, and, because... it was that many people, they start to say, Cappellini has problems because you don't win money doing design. Cappellini is a visionary. And so this is absolutely not true, because if Cappellini wasn't making money, this man cannot take away money. That's it, So the Cappellini was doing very well at that time. And the second, really, at that time anyway, the first reaction, it was, I killed myself. After I have to say that, looking to my family, to my wife and to my kids, I'm looking to some friends, because I have to tell you that in this moment you can discover who are the real friends and who just fall follow you only till when you need to them, no?
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. And also, so it was really a very, very difficult period. But again, I'm also always used to say, okay, what is next? We have to look to the future. And it's true when you say that. For me, that moment is like this moment, like we are living today
Yes.
with the virus, with all the problems. But to say that I'm really very positive, I have to say that really, again, the moment that we are living today is maybe the worst moment of contemporary history.
Yes.
But we have to find the energy to look to the future, for sure, to a future that it will be different from the past. But again, I think that the most important thing is to be ready to adapt, maybe not to change our life, but to adapt our life to this new situation. And again, is what I made 15 years ago. And I have to say, for sure, I lose a lot of money. And at that time, I understood that you can live with $1,000 and you can live also with the $100. On the other side, really, I understood who were my real friends and who wasn't my real friends. And so I found the power to go ahead, and that's it. And for me, really, the respect from many people, it was really the power that gave me the real power to go ahead, and that's it.
Well, you are,
It's life.
yeah, it is life, but your attitude and your optimism, I think, are part and parcel of what you're famous for, which is having an ability to spot long sellers versus best sellers, and and you
Yes.
have a very long view, I think, in terms of your life, your business, and even these roller coaster, these deep plummets on the roller coaster of life. You still look to the next peak, which I think is one of your
Sure.
superpowers.
Fortunately, I always think that what we are doing, we don't need to use too many words to explain what we are doing. Because if we spend more than 50 words to explain a project on which we are working, it's because we are not 100% convinced of what we are doing. I really think that we have the possibility to show to the people what we think, which is our concept, our idea, just doing things. And I think that this is again the most important thing. And really, I always say that there is something new to invent. Sometimes, and it's the thing that I always tell to the students of to the young designers, because many times people they say, "Oh, everything has been done in design," and so and so, and they say, "No, that is absolutely not true. There are really millions of new things to do." Because also, to do design is not only to design a table or a chair or a sofa, but today you can design really thousands of beautiful objects. And also, I think that the role of people working in creativity and in designer is not only to make useful and beautiful product, but also to make people dreaming and smiling. I think that this is again something very important. And coming back
To
to what
connect to their
we were,
emotions.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Otherwise, without emotion is
It's
nothing,
dead. It's
And
soulless.
also back to what you were saying. Sure, I like to work on long sellers. I always say that design creates best sellers, good design creates long sellers. Because I think that is a sort of guarantee for the end consumer to see a product maybe in a different color with a different texture and so in the market after 20, 30 years. Because people they say, wow, if this product is still in the market, is really good. And I think that in this particular historical moment, we really need of the heritage. We want to be secure. We want to be, we need of these kind of objects that they became part of our life. So I think that the idea, the concept of objects really timeless is absolutely very important. And
It's multi-generational, like families. You wouldn't want to be in a family with no parents and grandparents.
no, it's absolutely true. And also, I think that after this period, because it's really a terrible period, and we have to say that, yeah, okay, on one side, people that are suffering or are dying, and so, but on the other side, no, a lot of people that they lost their job, and really, so we have already, and we will have many, many problems in the future. But I think that this is my idea. Maybe I'm completely wrong. That maybe people they will buy less product, but more not take away, not products used and throw away, but really products that became part of their life. No?
Yes.
And so I think that there will be just a sort of changement in the idea, in the concept of buying objects from the final customers. This is my idea. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, but I hear you, and I feel it too. There's going to be an adjustment from the consumer mentality towards fast, cheap, and disposable toward an investment in things that can be with them, that they can form attachments to, and that represent not only this moment in time, but the past and possibly the future. If these objects have a longevity to them, then they don't feel... then we do too. Then we can connect to our own longevity.
Yes, that is absolutely true. And also we have to think that for sure people, they will travel less, they will go less at the restaurants, they will have less vacation, they will buy less fashion clothes, they will have less social moments. And so people, they will stay at home more and they will understand how important it is to live in a nice house. And so I see in this moment, all the people are really... Also, maybe if, again, they have no budget, no money, but they are living a lot at home and they are understanding if they need to change something in their own home, how to adapt their house also to the idea that they can work at home, and so. So also, from this point of view, there will be a lot for design to do in the next future. It's not that due to the virus, the design is dead. I don't believe this, really.
Thank you for sharing your insight with us. And I think one of the important things about this format that we're talking here is that people get to hear your story in your own voice. It allows them to connect to you personally and to sort of feel a deeper connection to the objects through knowing you and hearing your passion. Would you also share with our listeners a little about just Giulio, you and your private life? I know you've mentioned you have 3 children and a wife, so there's a family there. We're having this phone call. You're in Switzerland. Paint the picture for me of like Giulio. What do you eat for breakfast? Things like that.
For sure. Okay, now my kids are one. She's 29, 25, and 22. So for sure they have their own life, no?
Yes.
Because sometimes, I like to have all of them at home and so, but it's absolutely not true. This is my game. Normally we are in Milano, but Margherita, she's my third. She lives in Paris, and Costanza, she lives with her boyfriend, and so really. But for me, family is absolutely very, very important. It's the most important thing. Again, thinking to the past, to the horrible period of my life, I think that without my family, I don't know what I can do, really. I like very normal things, and this is the same for my family and for my friends too. Okay, for my business, I have to be sometimes social. Also, if I'm not just one person that is every evening to a party, or no, absolutely. And really, I like the very simple things. I like to share my life with my family, to have a pizza together, and also to share my time also with my best friends. There are really few people, not only involved in design, okay, because Piero is a very good friend of mine, like Rodolfo Dordoni, because we study together. They are good friends, and they are also architects and designers. But I have also really other friends that are not involved in design business. For example, I'm a very good friend of Piero Gandini. He is the ex-owner of Floss Company. But with Piero, when we were used to meet each other, we never speak about business, about design, but we speak about other things, can be art or can be travels, and so. But really coming back to myself, no. Sometimes the people, they think that I'm not enough open to the people, but maybe it's because I like to have my own privacy.
Sure.
And really to live my private life in a very easy way, because again, normally apart this period, I travel a lot, because I travel more or less 200 days in a year worldwide, and so it's quite a lot. So many times I don't spend my weekend at home, because I use the weekend for the long trips to Asia or North America, and so. And I like anyway very much to travel. But on the other side, when at home, really, I like to do very, very simple things. And for me, again, the relationship, the human relationship, is really very, very important. If I've really maybe to choose if to have an easy pizza with some friends or to go to something super social, if I can, I choose the easy pizza with my friends. And so this is my life.
Well, I love that, and I sincerely hope there are many easy pizzas in the near future. Would you do me a favor? Would you look around the room that you're in right now and share with me just a simple non-Cappellini object that you enjoy or that is part of your everyday?
Yes, because really, I have to say that this is also in my Milano house. I don't have. It's not just a 100% Cappellini house. I have some old pieces from the 60s, and I have some unique pieces. Maybe some designers, some friends, they made for me. And, also I like very much contemporary art.
Yes.
I have a great passion for contemporary art. And so if I look here, for example, okay, there is an old small table by Zarin and Forknall, the white one, with some objects on top. And also here, I like to mix different objects, contemporary objects with maybe old Chinese potteries and so. And there is in another corner of this room, there is the sacco from Zanotta, and there is an old Rietveld armchair. There is a few Jasper Morrison chairs from Cappellini. So when they ask me how is your house, I always say it's a chaos like my life, And because again, I think that your home has to reflect your own personality. I think that also if I like very much contemporary art, but for me the most important thing is that really a house has to be alive, not can be just like a museum. And also have books everywhere because I love books. But I'm not 100% technological, and so I still like a lot of paper.
Yes.
And really, I prefer to read a book on a real book in paper than on a computer. And so really I have bookshelf and books everywhere, also on the floor. And I have really thousands of books in my studio, in my house on the lake, everywhere.
I love it. You've been interviewed a lot over the years. Is there anything that you'd like to say that no one has asked?
In the past, when they were they were interviewing me, maybe they were asking only about design. No? Now more and more people are curious to know which car I like, if I prefer pasta or risotto, and so. No, maybe I want to speak about my dreams. No, if I wasn't just an architect or an art director, what I want to do. But for sure. I think that one of my dream, and maybe I hope I can do in the future, is to do books only with images, because I think that a beautiful image everyone can understand, no? Because if something is written, for sure, we have many different languages in the world, no? And maybe if it's written in Italian, American people, they cannot understand, and if it's written in Indian, Italian people, they cannot understand. But I think that really a beautiful image, really everyone can understand, a sort of word without words, but only with images. And so this is one of my dreams. And second, I like very much movies. Also, if normally when I go to see a movie, I look more to the interiors than to the history of the movie, no? In fact, really.
I would love for you to do production design. Oh my God, you just blew my mind. That would be amazing. We need to make this happen, universe. We need to make this happen.
I remember that a few years ago, I was working, I made just a project for Walt Disney. And so I spent a few days in the Walt Disney headquarters. No? And for me, it was really an incredible experience because in these buildings, and it seemed that Mr. Disney was always walking on the corridors. And I spent one day looking to the old drawings in this room with the white gloves, taking all the old drawings on the Fantasia, no? The beautiful movie of Walt Disney. And for me, it was like a dream. It was really crazy.
Wow.
And it was an incredible experience because I always think that, you can really find it. I got a lot of inspiration because I think that really, you can get inspiration from everything and everywhere. This is, again, very, very important. So I always say that, I have a long list to do in my present life, but I have also a long list of things that I will like to do in my next life.
Yes!
So we will see. Again, we have always, having to look to the future, and that's it.
You have too much energy for one lifetime, Giulio.
Okay. We'll think to the next one.
Yes. Yes.
Good.
Well, is there something, in the hopper right now in the pipeline that you'd like to let our listeners know to look out for? A current project?
Really, the project on which I'm working is, again, because normally, when we think to a product, we think to a new table, a new chair, a new sofa, and so on. So now the thing that we're working with a young team of students and designers coming from different parts of Europe, also from Eastern Europe, because in Eastern Europe there is also a new generation of very, very interesting young designers. And I'm working on what they call a landscape. Can be a domestic or can be just a landscape for an office or for a lounge and so. For sure, again, I like to work on global projects. So on this landscape, for sure, we have piece of furniture, but my idea is to try to understand how people will live in the future and also to think to the new generation that they live in the Silicon Valley, the new young Chinese generation and so. So I'm trying to work on this project that I think that is quite interesting because it's not only to say, okay, we do another chair, we do another table. There are already thousands of beautiful tables and chairs and sofa in the market. So, but really to try to give. And this is not a concept of lifestyle, but to try to work on this landscape for the future. And I think that this is really very important. And again, it's very important to work on this project, playing with different people coming from different parts of the world and with a different attitude to design.
Yes, that diversity and that inclusiveness is something that's always been a part of you and your perspective. Giulio, I just want to thank you so much for sharing everything that you've shared with us.
It has been really a great pleasure. Thank you. Really, thanks really a lot. And I hope that in the next future we have the possibility to meet in the real life. No?
I hope so too.
As I always say that for sure in the next future, we will be back to shake our hands and
yes.
The human relationship. And I think that we are discovering how much human relationship is important,
Yes.
Now we are living in a virtual way, but when we will be back to the real way, we will rediscover for sure all these fantastic relationships.
Yes,
Good.
Wonderful to see the sparkle in your eye and the smile on your face in person. There's nothing like it. So thank you so much for sharing your heart and soul with us.
Thanks a lot.
Hey, thanks for listening. To see images from Giulio and Cappellini and read the show notes, click the link in the details of this episode on your podcast app, or go to cleverpodcast.com where you can also sign up for our newsletter. Subscribe to Clever on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And if you would, please do us a favor and rate and review. It totally helps us. We love chatting with you on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can find us at Clever Podcast, and you can find me at Amy Devers. Clever is produced by 2VDE Media, with editing by Rich Straffolino and music by L1011. Clever is proudly distributed by Design Milk.